It seems like it must have been a pretty great challenge, but but either way, we know that Dumbledore was right, and Hagrid is kind-hearted, and Mrs. Norris has got nothing to go off of here. Nothing whatsoever. As we move down a little bit, we get a reference to Ron's brother Charlie. Which is kind of interesting because I feel like he's largely brought up more in the first book, and then for the most part, it feels like Bill sort of takes over as like chief oldest brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
For the rest of the story. So we get a little
he's
bit
in
more.
Goblet a little bit.
We do get a little bit of Charlie. But really, I feel like we spend more time with Bill. But maybe it's just because when you get to the end of the series, you've just spent more time with Bill.
Well, Charlie's not in the movies at all either. Like Bill is in the movies, but Charlie isn't.
Right.
Which is like a why not kind of thing.
Yeah, I have no idea. Kind of an unusual one.
Yeah.
So that's sort of interesting.
There's also this sort of weird thing where it keeps like sort of alluding to the fact that Hagrid knows something about why Snape doesn't like Harry, and it's like. I don't think Hagrid does know why Snape doesn't like Harry. Does he?
At the very least, Hagrid would have probably known. Hagrid would have been there as a school staffer whilst both Snape and James attended.
True.
So I think it's very possible that what Hagrid is not telling Harry is the history between James and Snape. That would be like my.
I guess
bet.
so.
Yeah.
I guess that's about as much as you can know.
Because if you were Hagrid and like witnessed all that, and you had a closer relationship with James, but you also kind of, I mean, James is a jerk in high school. So
yeah,
like,
I guess at this point, Hagrid's been like nicer people you couldn't have found, except for Snape.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that would probably be my best bet, is that Hagrid doesn't know the full story, but he knows just enough to know like. You're probably fighting an uphill battle in that one, and I don't really want to like sully, your dead father's name, by telling you like, by the way, your dad was kind of a jerk to him, so like, Snape he doesn't have a lot of ground to stand on, but like probably more than none.
More than none, specifically against your dad.
Right. As we check forward, though, we learn more about the Gringotts break-in, which of course happened the same day that Harry and Hagrid were at Gringotts Bank. One of my just favorite things is at the end of this like little news clipping that Hagrid has is just that they specifically refer to the person who gave the account of what happened as a spokesgoblin.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
like not a spokesman, a spokesgoblin.
Spokesgoblin.
Yeah, get it right. I think that's pretty fun and clever. This is sort of interesting because it's like the first piece of like the puzzle a little bit, to where like they're starting to realize like, wait a second, I was there that day. Hagrid handled that package. Like,
right.
They're starting to get like, I mean,
we emptied a vault.
Right. Like this is where like Harry kind of becomes a little bit of like Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah, he starts being Detective Harry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Starting to try to like pull the pieces of the overall like story together.
Yeah.
Let's see. And that's pretty much.
That's mostly what happens for chapter 8.
Yes. Yeah.
The Potions Master.
The Potions Master. It's a fun chapter overall. I mean, I think Harry just sort of like attending school as usual, like experiencing the wizarding world. I often say that I feel like Goblet of Fire, I think has always historically been one of my favorite books in the saga, and I think a huge reason for that is because it's still like Harry is still like being immersed more and more in the wizarding world. Like he's still being exposed to like brand new things for the first time. And I feel like that largely continues all the way from books 1 through 4. And then like once he's up to like year 5, it's almost like Harry's pretty well acclimated to the wizarding world. Like, it's you're having less of like this like awestruck looking around like, wow, this place is amazing and magic is so cool. Like,
right.
It's like at that point in time, it's more like, okay, he's in it now. Like he's a pretty seasoned wizard. So, I feel like this is just like one of those good chapters where you're just sort of like seeing Harry do school, enjoy Hogwarts. Yeah. Even though it kind of sounds like all of his teachers kind of suck.
I know. Who was a good teacher here? Flitwick, Sprout, McGonagall. Sounds about right.
Yeah. As everything would press forward. But yeah, that'll round us off for chapter 8. What do you think about the chapter art here?
Okay, I actually had thoughts about the chapter art on this one because it's called the Potions Master. We don't spend like it's almost like the fact that this is a chapter where it's called the Potions Master, but not like, and you do spend the most amount of time in Snape's class, but you could have just called it like week 1. The fact that it's called the Potion Master like helps draw your attention specifically to the interaction with Snape and that he's important. But the artwork itself is just a spell book, and it's called the Potions Master. So it was like, part of me is like wondering, like, is the spell book in question up there like the copy of Advanced Potion Making or something? Like, is it like, it's called the Potions Master picture of book? Like, is this like, it doesn't have any, it's not a picture of Snape, you know?
That's
why isn't it a picture of Snape?
Or a
it could be like year 1 or year 6's potion book, perhaps. Never thought about it, but never see it yet. It doesn't really make sense. This is a book with what art is going on of it, if you know what I mean.
cauldron.
Or a cauldron, or anything to do with potions.
Yeah,
it's like, must be a potions book, but there is a very specific potions book that is really important to the whole story. So it doesn't feel like the sort of information that would have been given anything to do with potions. It's like, must be a potions book, but there is a very specific potions book that is really important to the whole story. So it doesn't feel like the sort of information that would have been given out after book 1, like, oh yeah, make this a book because the 6th book's going to be about a book. You know?
Right.
But,
yeah, like which represent, which is the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So it's hard to know whether or not there would be like that much forethought, but it does seem like a strange choice.
Yeah.
But the other thing too, and probably to your point, is that like you're attempting to really start shining the spotlight on Snape at this point in the story, like, because what we know is that he's going to be the red herring for the whole freaking story.
Yeah.
Like we are pretty much suspecting Snape as like, person number one, suspect number 1
the whole time. Yeah, I mean, even Harry outright says, like, why did Snape hate him so much? And I literally wrote the note, like, yeah, only 7 books to go.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's the other thing, too, is, and I wrote this on the last page. I just said, like, this, we get the introduction to the mystery, like, why does Snape hate Harry? So, like, a lot of these mysteries, I do remember experiencing them for the first time and just desperately wanting the answer, because at this point in the story, you do not have enough information to go off of to be able to, like, be like, oh,
yeah,
Snape was in love with Harry's mother. Like, like, there's no way you could have ever deduced that out at this stage. So yeah, that's I do think that it's really the ignition point for what will go on to be a 7-book long mystery.
Yeah. So there's that. I've also got a review.
Oh, hey. Okay, let's read it.
All right. This is from PotterGirl13. It says, I didn't know I needed this podcast. I love this so much. I found out I'm pregnant with my first little before this released. It's so crazy to think about where I'll be when all of this is over. I'll have an almost 4-year-old, maybe even more. Anyways, you guys have really helped me keep things off my mind with this and your YouTube channel. Thank you for all you do. Can't wait to see where this goes and what will come.
Oh, that's so cool. It's actually really fun because literally as of recording today's episode is actually my daughter Addison's 2nd birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Addison!
I know, happy birthday, Addie. Because I have had a similar thought before. Like when we started like slating this all out, and we realized like if we're doing a chapter a week, and how many chapters do we have? It's like this is gonna take a while.
Yeah.
To get all the way through the whole saga and everything. So we have lots of runway left ahead of us, but it will be so fascinating to see like where everybody's lives are at. By the time we get to the end of it.
I know.
It's gonna
like,
be
it's like roughly 4 years from now. So like, how old will my kids be? Like 9, 10 for Luke? Like, ugh.
Oh man,
that's crazy to think about.
That is wild.
Yeah,
absolutely wild. But also very exciting.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't have a 9-year-old. Are you crazy? Like, that feels like he was just born.
It does feel that way. It does feel that way. But anyway, guys, that is chapter 8 for you from Philosopher's Stone. If you would like to leave us a review, we would greatly appreciate it. It certainly helps, with the discoverability of the podcast as it exists out there in the pod sphere. Plus, there's a good opportunity for us to potentially read it here in one of the future episodes. So
absolutely.
Be sure to go and leave a 5-star and a review. But I think that's all for today.
Yeah, otherwise, join us next time through the Griffin door.
Yeah, got there.
Alright guys, so That was a pretty good episode for chapter 8. I hope you liked it. I will next week or the week after that we will be on chapter 9 of Philosopher's Stone. But before we get off of this today, I want to say that this video is awesome by WNG, and you get 10% off your order of the Powers of Sickles if you use the link in the description down below, and use my code DJBRadioShow in the promo code section when you're checking out your order of WJ. So that is your order the Sickles or any of the Sickles or the Powers, you can use my code for 10% off your order. And that is DJBRadioShow all caps in the promo code section of when you're ordering off your, like, sending off your order of the House of Sickles. When I said that is DJBRadioShow in all caps, and get 10% off your order of the Powers of Sickles today. Hope that's not the same, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hey, Max.
I don't get it. You never like the same games. How do you all like Marvel Strike Force so much?
Because you can play it however you want. As you level up, you'll unlock more game modes, then you can focus on your favorites.
I'm all about raids, where I get to coordinate with friends to take down a series of tougher and tougher fights. My Bifrost team with Loki and Sylvie is cracked, so I can handle whichever battles I'm needed for.
I like working with an alliance too, but against other players. In war, you get to work together to find your enemy's weak points. My new Thor and Star-Lord get massive war bonuses. You're going down, Rick Fury 89.
Man, there is a lot of different ways to play, huh?
Definitely. Now, I'm less into the Alliance stuff, but I love the Cosmic Crucible. It's a weekly gauntlet that's basically a puzzle game all its own. King the Conqueror is usually a beast in this mode, but the cool thing about the Crucible is it's always changing, so you can't really use the same strategy every time.
And the great thing is, you can just play whatever you like. You can go against AI or other players, play solo in the arena, or work with your alliance in raids and war. It's whatever you want it to be.
I actually think I just found my favorite mode.
Really? What is it?
Costume mode! I put Loki in a little president outfit.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really a game mode exactly.
Shh, let him have this.
Look at him, he's so cute.
Marvel Strike Force. Click.